Woo! Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, everywhere. This clip is going to have a live spot or even just a clip of the actual video from the live recording. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. Hope you all are having a great time out there. Hopefully, your teams won this weekend from the college levels to the pro ranks. Um, Hopefully, you all are having a great time out there. So, today's title is Cool Turn of Events. Cool Turn of Events. And it is pretty awesome. My computer is being all kinds of laggy this morning. There we go. Okay. So, wait a little bit to get a few viewers on here. There's Casey. Welcome to the broadcast booth, Mr. Casey. Seeing if Roy is awake today or not. And yes, I know I'm backwards. I'm about to change that. Give me just 1 second. Bum, bum, bum. There we go. Ta-da! All changed around and heading in the right direction. How was your weekend, Mr. Casey? Since today is Monday the 20th, the last time we talked was Saturday morning. And hopefully your weekend went well. And we got you got a lot of good rest out there. I don't know. We didn't sleep well for whatever reason last night. Either one of us. So, but it's all good. Oh, you slept a lot. Well, good for you, jerk. Nah, that's all good. Those are people that can sleep. I can't say I envy you, but I guess I get more stuff done in a day than most normal people. Saturday night was stormy. It was. We got a good. Well, they said we were going to have a worse storm than we actually got, but we picked up a little bit of high winds and quite a bit of rain, but that was really about it. The way they were talking about it, we were going to be like swept away, in another, Noah type flood, but that didn't happen. So, you know why I sleep so much? No, why? Because of all the great music you produce during a day, it wears you out. That's my thoughts. So tell us why. Tell us why, Mr. Casey. Uh oh. Somebody's already got filtered. Somebody's already saying something bad on the broadcast. Some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. So if you are talking in a negative connotating or condensed, whatever it is, uh, condescending tone, uh, there we go. We are live, Mr. Kirk Holt. Welcome to the broadcast booth. Your shirt should be here within the next few days, actually. And then I'll turn around and ship them straight out to you once I get them in hand. Oh, by accident. Well, if you did the little follow thing up there, like we talked about that day, ringing the bell, like I was taught how to do, um, it does show you when we go live. There you go. And so now you're here with us live at the beginning of the broadcast. That's awesome. But if you would, all of you like, share, and follow, that would be awesome. That helps out our little broadcast booth here as we talk about some cool alternative events. That is today's title. And, we've been talking about the paranormal stuff here lately. And we keep getting weird things happening in the broadcast booth and around the house. So just like this Saturday, while I was watching OU beat the snot out of South Carolina, um, I had a visitor. I actually thought it was the girlfriend who was in the bedroom, uh, and because she was dressed all in black, black. Well, I say black. It was gray sweatpants, black shirt, and her "Run Rabbit Run" from H.D. Carlton's book, The Dark Romance. Um, and so I'm standing there, and I get a text message. I believe it was from Roy, and I go over and check my phone, and so I'm holding my phone, doing this little number, and my back is slightly tilted, and I can see from the peripheral, I see movement over here. Well, the dogs and the pigs are inside because they just got done eating and all that stuff. And I'm doing my little text thing to Roy, and I kind of glance over, and I see full body apparition right next to me. I think it's Audrey, you know, and I'm sitting there texting, and I look over, and I'm watching Dracula at this point in time because the game's over, and I put on Prime, and I'm watching Dracula, the 1931 version, Bela Lugosi, and so I see her out of the corner of my eye, and it looks like she's looking at the TV, and then I keep doing that, and I do one more glance, and I see her turn and go back into the bedroom. Well, I get finished up, put the phone down. I grab the rope from Dexter because he's wanting to play with the rope, and so I'm pulling him, he's pulling me, and I go in the bedroom. I ask her, "Hey, what did you need? What did you want to do or anything like that?" And she was like, "What do you mean? You just came in the front room and you stood there, and then you turned around and walked back into the bedroom." She goes, "No, I was sitting here on the bed the whole time." And I was like, "No, seriously, you came into the front room and you stood there I couldn't even tell you the brand of that one. I've got an HP over here, all in one, and it it does okay for what I want, but you know, I run my Adobe programs on this. I run, all the good stuff like that, but none of the new stuff. Because why? It has AI on it. The new Adobe has AI, and I know a lot of people love their AI. I am not one of those people that love AI, and I never will, because it takes from the artists ourselves. Ran a bunch of old stuff. 1996 crow drawing that I did right there back in the day. 1996. What were you doing back in 1996? Obviously, I was drawing. I don't know how many of you remember the old Wizard magazine that had tons of comic information and hello, Mr. Nice Guy, if you've joined us. Wizard magazine was a magazine devoted to the guide to comics. It would introduce new things coming out. It would talk to creators, and it would have the price guide in it, so you could price your comics. Well, they also did a contest where you would draw stuff, and they would put it in their um, wizard section if you were selected. You know, I don't know if any of mine ever made the cut or not, but this was the very first one I did for Wizard magazine back in the day. 1993, right there. And then the next one was a Wolverine. And then the next one was Mr. Lobo. Chopped up an alien back in there. And then over here, um, it had a big long saying. I think I ended up changing it to something more nice, I guess, if you will. Then an airbrush piece I did, an mixed media airbrush and colored pencil and things like that of the cover of Wolverine right there on one of the X Men covers, where he's ripping the cover of the comic book. And then Coup de Grace, G.I. Joe number 13, I believe. I did this was from 1986. So this goes way back. Right there. And then just some artwork that I still need to get framed. This is a Ken Hunt original. This was what he called his warm up piece. I wish my warm up pieces looked like this, but they will one day. This is from Mr. Ken Hunt. Death's Head, Frank Miller's Prisoner in the Horned Helmet right here. And that's one that's going to get framed up. And just some other people's artworks. Because that's what I do. I get other people's artworks when I go to shows. Because I support the local artist. Damn it. He's in the wrong spot. Sorry, Freddie. You're going away for a minute. Knocking your glove off anyway. I support other artists out there when I go to comic book conventions and things. Because why not? There's multiples in here of this person's artwork and this person's artwork, those type things. And, why not? I didn't pick up his card, but this was his take on the Batman Who Laughs right there. Laugh is a bit of joy, is what it says as he wrote. Hammer Time, Brett Wagner, 2003, Leatherface. Right there. He was a cool dude. Talked to him for a short bit. And then, of course, one of the voices of Mikey. Got it autographed for Audrey right there. Yeah, this is just more stuff that I ran across. And then Hollett, the official Stitch Tunes, Jonathan Hollett, as seen on Disney, Disney Plus, Netflix, Fox, Nickelodeon. But he does this type of stuff with Stitch. He turns them into modern day, creations. Then of course we've seen all the rest of these. That is here. That's my newest finds as I'm digging through stuff. And it's all walk through memory lane. And oh well, look who finally decides he wants to show up to the broadcast. He was probably over there talking on the other broadcast, weren't you? Weren't you, Roy? Nope, not today. Well, hold on. There's two comments. I got to see what it says. I bet it was Roy. Wasn't it, Roy? You were on the wrong broadcast channel. He likes to do that, though. It's not catching up to me yet. So, whatever the two comments are over here, I can't read them yet. But I'm betting it was from Roy over there. Yeah, that's one, Roy, that I let just run in the background. I don't even check it most of the time. And I'll periodically go see what it says. So if you do hit that one on Facebook, you need to just bounce off of it and come over here to TikTok. Because like I said, that one just runs in the background. And I kind of figured it was. I very, very rarely get any interaction on my Facebook page if people stop on it. I'll maybe get a comment or a like or two. And the Cowboys looked awesome, you know. But that, excuse me, that's saying a lot because the Commanders have a worse defense than we do. So, you know. But yes, they looked great yesterday. And you've already missed a lot of content talking about full body apparitions on Saturday. And just going through some new artwork and things like that. Let's see what else has been said. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So, how was everybody's weekend? I know Casey's been getting a lot of sleep. Roy wasn't happy with Saturday's results. But I don't know why his team, the Oklahoma Sooners, won, so he should be super happy. And let's see, they actually destroyed South Carolina. Let's see, and then welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson, and did we all just see that bright light that went behind my head? It was right there. Well, it was right there. I'm trying to see if it's nothing on my hat that's doing that reflective. What the hell is going on? First, we had the camera flash over here, like an old flash bulb from the 1930s with the 1920s, 1930s, where they had the little flash bulb in there that they had to take out and all that good stuff. And then the full body apparition. Don't forget to join the fan club, and don't and then the full body apparition just on Saturday in the front row with the orbs going all over the table and out of the bedroom to the bedroom and all that good stuff. And then now I just had that that light right there, right there, right above my hat. Again, that was at the where's my paper? Of course I can't find my paper. Why would I? Is it buried? No, not buried. Where the hell is my notepad? Where's my notepad? There's my pen. Okay, I'll just write it down on one of these post-it notes down here. Let's see, 25 to 27 mark. Okay, so we got that written down. Where is my pen? Oh, there it is. 25 to 27. Okay, that's almost where it was at the last time we were here live when the flash went off in my face because it was at the 20 to 22-minute mark. Now we're at the 25 to 27-minute mark. So there you go. All right. So that's interesting. I don't know what that was because the only thing on back there is my TV, which you guys can see it going off right there. Boom, right there. Well, let me go the right way, right there. And it's just got the clock on it. And nothing, no light source can come from the window over here. Nothing is flashing over here like my printer right over here. You can see the board right here is dead. It's black. There's nothing else back there that would cause a light flash up in that area. Yes, I've got a messy office right now. So this is one of the things I'm working on, trying to get it back to form. So don't know what that was because even my hat doesn't have a reflective surface except for right here, and that will not cause a flash to come up on the backside. Well, I don't know what that light source was, but yes, I saw it because I even mentioned it, but I didn't see it the many times like Casey did after the fact. Um, because the thing is, it comes from over here and flashes back this way. Well, there's nothing over there to flash. Is the issue, you know? The only thing that would have a flash on it would be like if the screen, the monitor here would flash at me like your phone does if you do a screenshot of something or you do a back flash on your camera with the reverse angle and all that good stuff. And the only other thing that could do that would be that little light that's letting me know, hey, you're live with your camera, the white light up here. And it technically doesn't flash, it's just on. So I don't even think he roots for the Arkansas Razorbacks. He's too embarrassed with what he made there. That's why he follows the Oklahoma Sooners. All right. And I'm sorry that games are down worldwide. I'm sure they'll pick back up. Uh, you know, out there. I don't play video games, but that's okay. A lot of people do. My girlfriend's one of them. She likes her video games, and I used to be into them hot and heavy up until probably 2014, 2013, somewhere in that range. No, sir. I live where my heart is, and that's in Oklahoma. The hogs are best on a luau and a spit, rotating and getting some barbecue. That's the only thing hogs are good for. Even our two hogs need to be done that way, but And I like to shoot hogs. That's fun. Good eating right there too. I'm waiting for that opportunity when I can get a couple at my parents' house. Some of them razorbacks. Mm-mm-mm. Yummy to the tummy. Butcher them all up and have them for dinner. That's all a hog's good for. It doesn't matter where I live. Oklahoma will have all of my allegiances except for the Dallas Cowboys and the Texas Rangers. Oklahoma City Thunder, Oklahoma Sooners, only teams to follow. And you know this, Roy. Even you follow the Oklahoma City Sooners. So I appreciate that you have converted from your hags over here and you follow the Oklahoma City Sooners. And you're now a loyal Oklahoma City Thunder fan, you know. So it's all good. We understand, you know. Just because a person lives in a section doesn't mean they have to follow the rest of the mindless people that limbing into a hag following cult, you know. Yep, right there. You're an OU fan. AOU fan right there is what it says. AOU fan. Good job. I'm glad you came out. I'm glad you came out, Roy. But now, seriously, we are seeing more and more uh, paranormal activity happening here at the house. And I'm hoping to get some cool paranormal stuff so I can start doing some more investigations. I will always be an OU fan. Good job, Roy. I'm glad. I'm awesome. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad you support them so much. And and so we are looking at getting some of the what's called the cat balls, the infrared stuff, a spirit box, all of that good stuff, and just so we can do our own investigations here at the house. Plus, we possibly have the opportunity to do a ghost hunt at a newly purchased property. Um, we're gonna. I want to get into more talks about that. Um, I am not a professional ghost hunter, so I'm not one of those that you know is oohing and awing over stuff that we go and find and stuff like that. I still haven't even reviewed the freaking footage that I took when we were out fishing the other night when I took some nighttime pictures. I want to see if there's anything that potentially was around us at the time, like any mist or you know unexplained things that you find whenever you take photographs and things like that, or when people take photographs and they go back and review the videos or footage later, and it's like I didn't see that there, and you see a figure or a creature or whatever in the picture, and that's what I'm kind of hoping I kind of find there. And I like again, I have not um, reviewed my footage. I just went through some pictures and got rid of a bunch of pictures and transferred them to my computer and like I always do. And I just didn't look at those yet. But that's next on my agenda. Agenda. Agenda right there. And so we're gonna look at that. But I'm gonna start taking more nighttime pictures inside the house just to see if I capture anything as well, and around the outside of the property. I'm thinking about breaking out my old camera. It's not technically old, but I mean it's old. It's a digital camera, and I'm hoping to uh, get that going on. Uh, and I know they say Polaroid is the best to do the captures with instead of digital and things of that nature. So I might look into another Polaroid at some point in time as well. But for now, it'll be the digital. Just got to get it all charged up and going and cleaned up a little bit. Because it's been sitting, it hasn't been used in probably 5 or 6 years now. But it's still fully functional, still ready to go. Just throw a new SD card in there and we're good to go. Which is what I need to do on all my cameras that I just installed in the house. I picked up some new cameras and I need to put the SD cards inside them as well. And I've got some floating around on my desk that need a home, and I'm gonna change out cameras. About to sneeze. Less. And huh, 100%, and it would be more real than some of the stuff you see in Hollywood, or even some of the documentaries or ghost hunting shows you see out there on TV right now. And here's the thing: if you do paranormal ghost hunts and things like that, more power to you. Um, but I understand why so many people. Good one, Casey. And I understand why so many people have a hard time watching the paranormal professionals out there, just because they put on a production instead of doing a straight hunt. They have to do this. They have to do that. They have to do that. Like with the problem that Audrey has with Colby and whatever the other dude's name is, the two young kids that do the paranormal stuff, is that they're always talking over their stuff. They're always ooh that type of stuff, and that gets annoying after a time, after a while. And then you got, of course, Zach Bagan and his crew with all the controversial stuff that they supposedly have done and what he has done to his own crew. Um, you can go read about all that stuff. I'm not knocking any group out there, because I mean there was even problems with Jason Hawes and his group at the beginning, and that's why there was the split between Jason Hawes and I can't think of the other guy's name, but he went on doing his own stuff after the fact. And that's not where we want to be. We're not going to be a big main production type of a thing, and we're going to go do our own investigations, get our evidence, and things like that, and review all the evidence that we take and get, um, because you can debunk certain things, just like you know ghost hunters did in the beginning. They would debunk quite a few things, because oh, you got a loose floorboard, oh, you got this, oh, you got critters in your attic, oh, you've got so on and so forth. And whereas other shows didn't quite debunk as much, Ghost Adventures, um, they would debunk a few things, but they were more into the entertainment side of it than they were anything else. Oh, let's lock Aaron into this closet, that's supposedly super haunted, and people get scratched and all this other stuff, you and his anxiety was high enough already that it made for good entertainment, because you're watching his face, and as he's listening and moving around and getting all animatronic, you know, and that's not how we're gonna do. Whenever we go do our first true ghost hunt, um, and I've done ghost hunts, trust me, but I'm talking about as a, I can't say professional ghost hunter, but it'll be the first one at a location where we can be locked down. There you go. But we're going to try and talk to them to see if they will allow us to go in there and do a hunt after I get the equipment. Um, because it's her relatives that know the people that own that just bought the building, and they said it's had a lot of paranormal activity happening in it just during a little bit of renovation that they've been doing. Yes, ghosts don't like renovation, so there you go. But then that means we want to venture off into more and more stuff like that, which will be the overnight stuff to the witching hour. So there you go. Let's see. So far on tonight's show, or this morning show, not tonight's show, this morning show, we've had a light flash come in behind my head that was seen by Mr. Casey out there, and possibly a couple of others that didn't comment. But it happened right there, right directly behind my head, and it shot up on the ceiling. and there is nothing that would cause that light reflection right there. Even my watch doesn't cause that. So it's very interesting stuff. And if my watch did it, it would go up my face. This was directly behind my head and up on the ceiling back there. So that debunks that. Yes, the old religious hymn. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more in darkness. Yes. But yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff happening here. I can't lie. And it's I wish I had more evidence from inside the house other than just the orbs. Um, I wish I had the full body apparition that walked around the corner that I saw just Saturday, and it wasn't even dark; it was still light outside. Um, because the OU game had just ended, and it was either before or after. No, it was after the OU game. Is that right? I think it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was after the game, and had that full body apparition come out of the bedroom, stand right by the pillar in the front room, turn, walk back into the bedroom, and but on video it's only an orb. You can see it. Whoop, whoop, out. Um, and we get that stuff on a regular basis, like I said here, and we get the bumps and the knocks and things like that, and that's why whenever I start hearing any of that stuff, even if it's through here, I will go ahead and run an EVP session. I know I should probably be running one all the time, um, but I did not. Just like I said, I let this go for an hour plus the other day, and I still don't hear anything. But I need to get it over to the computer, and that way I can start breaking it down and listening and seeing where spikes are that in between, talking and things like that. So, but we'll see. We'll get there. I don't have all of the equipment that a lot of people do, the sound mixing equipment and things like that, on their computers, and but eventually we'll get there. You know, I don't have a sound guy. I don't have a or an audio guy. I don't have a video guy. I'm all of it besides the girlfriend, and right now. But sometimes that's all you need, and your computers. So there you go. But yeah, hopefully more stuff happens since we're talking about it, and it does like to amp up because hey, we're being seen, we're being noticed, we're being heard. You know, so the paranormal will amp up and act a fool for you sometimes, and that's really what we want. We want it to act a fool for us, and go from there. Sorry, I'm going to charge while I'm thinking about it. The 20th microphone right there. So it's fully charged, and I can put this one on the charger whenever we're done. And hopefully this sounds a lot better than before when it used to rustle against my shirt because it would sway back and forth with every movement that I made. And hopefully we're getting some cleaner audio out there for you, the fans that stick around and watch the broadcast channel to its entirety. Um, But lots of stuff is happening, not just in the paranormal realm, but like I said, I've got two comic book covers on my desk right now drawn up. I'm getting ready to start the painting process to the pet memorial one. I'm getting ready to do the color processes to these two over here that I can show you, since all the heavy inks are done on those, and I've shown you guys these a couple of times already. This is the mashup between a Dreki and a Wolver, and he is called Tharum, is what he named it, the guy that I'm doing this for. But there's a lot of detail in there. for the Dreki, and these are characters from God of War, with that right there. And then the mashup between Kingdom Hearts and Blade Runner, with Deckard and Sora fighting the villains from each. Deckard's fighting the Heartless, or the Darkness. Heartless? Dark, I don't know what they're called right now. And then Sora's fighting the replicants from Blade Runner's side, right there. Just a big mashup. There's a rift in the middle. Now, Pris down here, right here, she's stepping between both worlds. Coming from the Blade Runner side to the Kingdom Hearts side where Deckard is, and Deckard is fighting, those, and then Sora is fighting the replicants over there. So that will be fun to paint up, to color in. Perfect sound considering the source. Oh, well, thanks. Yes, shit, I do not have a tenor voice out there to talk to you, like certain things, and we just have fun here. Which reminds me, I've got to get into the recording of the voices for the next chapter in my voice acting career, as I venture off into another character for another Power Rangers fan film. I'm doing another voice, so I've got to. This is my audition for, so I've got to get those voices done and sent in to see if they're going to use it or not. I'll probably get to record some of that earlier this morning or mid-afternoon or something like that. Who knows? Maybe after lunch, whenever I've got a full belly, and then do the voices, and then the voices. We'll see how it goes. Sorry, I just noticed some pencil that needed erasing in that picture. In that picture, right there. That picture. But no, I'm having fun with all the artwork that we're doing. I'm having fun with all of the paranormal stuff happening in the house. And I wish I could get some better EVP so I could let you guys hear them that much easier. Thanks for the pumpkins. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the shares. It is always appreciated because all the money that comes in extra goes back into the printing process or keeping the lights on here at the studio. Because a portion of, the house bill goes to the studio bill, for 412 Productions. Because as a, business owner, you can do that, especially when you work from home. Whenever a portion of your home is, dedicated to that. And technically my entire home is dedicated to that because, homesteading takes up the other portion. So, but anything extra that comes in goes back into the printing processes of all the stuff that is needing to be printed right now. And so all of the extras that is generated through here, like the pumpkins and the other the things of that nature, that all goes back into the processes of the artwork and things of that nature. And so they're always much appreciated. And the dolphins are appreciated too. They're just cute little things. I'm glad we saved the dolphins now and not eat them in our canned tuna. But yeah. But no, we've been talking about a lot of cool stuff. I don't know what you've heard, Mr. Kirk Holt, where you have left off or stepped off with, and things of that nature. But gold boxing gloves reminds me of my days of boxing in Afghanistan. I need to get back to that. I need to get back to punching the bag more often out there in my workout room. Need to get back to using that workout room. I got to put the window in first because it's stuffy in there. Not that right now, because it's wintertime, it's getting ready to hit, and so it'll be cold in there, which will be perfect when you want to go do a workout. But yeah, we do have a workout room in a shop area of the house because we have a huge garage spot that is almost the same size as the house. So if I were to join those together, we would have probably a 3,000 square foot house at this point with just that extra room out there, because it's got a workout room, a greenhouse, and then the animal sleeping quarters, and then the garage itself. So you technically have a house, and it used to have a shower and bath in at one point in time, that section, but they destroyed it or tore it down or something. I don't know what happened, but and EVP time. I just heard a noise. Okay, talking to whoever made the noise. We will let this run. You can see the red light. You can speak into it if you would like. I'm going to set you over here, and we're going to continue our day over here. So, well, it tells me it's a gold boxing glove. I mean, I like cashews too. I got a whole uh, tub of cashews in the cabinet in the kitchen right now. It's almost empty. Need some more of those too. But yes, it's a boxing glove. But now it reminds me, we didn't have mouth guards, so we didn't do any head punches. So, you know, we did a lot of body shots, and people hated going against me, because as they told me, I've got that special strength, and it's just one of those things that I've always had apparently, and it's just like whenever we got into boxing, you know, and sparring together, it was just like the combatives drills. You know, they would be like, go half speed, and I'm like, I am going half speed, and they're like, no, you're going way faster than half speed. No, I'm going half speed. If I go any slower, I'll be dead. And they're like, you gotta slow it down. You gotta quit going so rough. And I'm like, I'm just going. I'm not. There's one switch. there's not a there's not a dimmer switch when it comes to me. You get what you get. And when it came to the sparring together in the boxing ring, uh, they were jarred pretty good. Let's put it that way. They would get some good shots in too, but they hated the punches that I threw at the time. I mean, you gotta remember, I was benching 300 pounds when I was in Afghanistan. I can't do that now. And I was probably pushing close to 1,200 on the legs, on a regular basis, and it was just crazy the things we were doing over there when it came to work out, because that's what you had to do. You went on your missions. When your downtime came, you were either in the gym, or you were watching movies, or you were wandering the base. But most of the time, we were in the gym, shooting hoops, or working out with the weights and all that good stuff, and getting swole, you know. But I don't do that so much no more. I do need to get back to it. It was fun and refreshing, you know, working out and all that good stuff. And it's not like I just sit on my arse all day long, because whenever you're outside building and moving around a lot, you get to the point where it's just like, okay, this is my workout. We're out chopping wood for your fireplace and things like that. Where it's 47 degrees outside right now. The fireplace should be going, but it's not, because I'm in here. Um, and and so it's just like one of those things that, yeah, I could be, working out 24/7 if I wanted to, but why? You know, you get to that mentality of, I'm still alive and breathing. I'm still moving. I'm still, I'm not, you know, uh, being confined to a bed or a chair or anything like that. I'm up. I'm moving. I'm around. I'm doing things. I'm chopping firewood. I'm going and chopping down trees. I'm putting uh, lumber on the chicken coop. What more do you need? You know, what more could you ask for? Seriously. But no, we could always do better for ourselves. You know, when it comes to that aspect, and So that's where we both want to get back into the physicality of working out more, doing what we used to do, because we used to go on hikes on a regular basis, and we just don't do that much anymore. And because we have too many responsibilities here, it's just like I haven't even gone to see my parents in nearly a year because of trying to break away from here when it comes to all the artwork that I'm doing, and then all of the homesteading with all the animals that we've got. It just gets to the point where, well, we don't have anybody that can take care of them. So one of us is going to have to stay here while, like, I take the trip to my parents' house. That leaves her here while she's trying to work and take care of the animals and everything else. So you know and it gets a lot. It gets to be a lot of different things when it comes to that. And so you have to try and balance it all out. And I haven't balanced it out very well this year at all. And that's on me. That's my own downfall. When it comes to that, my own shortcomings. Um, it's just like working out. I could be working out after I come off a live or after I do some artwork in the morning. Go start working out, and but I have an excuse. Why go out there? There's no light out there. There's no window out there. It's a stuffy room. And it's actually a pretty good sized room. I don't know the exact square footage of it right off the top of my head, but it's probably, if I had to guess, it's probably 12 by 15 just for that workout room by itself. If I had to guess. And then the greenhouse is probably 10 by 12 or whatever it is right there. So I think I figured that one up. I think that one was 156 square foot greenhouse, all by itself. Yes, exactly. Good delegations is what needs to be done. You're right. It is, and I don't delegate very well. Not even for myself, you know. And that's my own fault. Uh, I procrastinate too much. I do this. I do that. I just don't. I don't delegate my own stuff. Um, just like if I did, I'd have this place spotless, and I'd have the mural up on the wall, on the ceiling, and stuff like that. But I don't. I don't have one of those fancy setups like you see everybody else does with the neon signs on the wall and blah blah blah. I am looking at a neon sign. It's just rather expensive right now. That's got this logo on it, done up in neon. And oh, you were complimenting. But I mean, I see the that it can go either way with that, and but I do need to delegate a little bit more, and we try to do as much as we can with what we've got, and life, man, life. But no, I am working on some cool stuff that I'm hoping to get one of these days. Like I said, a neon sign with this logo on it, somewhere back in here. Um, I am looking at you know new banners, things like that. Uh, all of that good stuff, and that's part of the printing stuff that comes in when you guys donate, to the cause. Um, and all that meta money just goes right back into the cause. It doesn't go into fun stuff. It doesn't go into taking trips and vacations and stuff like that, because I don't make near the money that some people do out there that I see when they're like, yeah, I just made 7 grand on my meta. Just like, good God, what do you do? Sleep on freaking TikTok or Facebook, and that's all you do all day long is just post 24/7. I can't do that. And so, you know, I will post. I mean, like the other day, I was posting on a semi-regular basis, and then the very next day, I wasn't. I posted maybe twice, And then, I got back to posting maybe a couple more things on the next day, But there was one day I started early, and then it went through the day, posting different things throughout the day, and but we'll see, what that brings. My $6, my $7 from Meta, but that's just one of those things where I mean, I guess I could get an AI program to, post stuff for me 24/7, and then I would have, you know, all that content money from Meta on a regular basis. But I don't like AI, so there you go. Like I said, there is applications for it that you know, again, like we've talked about, where it can find cancer and things like that. Well, when you monetize your broadcast channel, like I do here and on Facebook, everything's monetized, meaning that anything that comes in, like the pumpkins that you or the dolphins and things like that, turns into real money. Um, Now, all the content that I post on Facebook, the pictures, the stuff like that, um, that brings in revenue as well, and it turns into real dollars. You know, like at the most so far, I've seen my highest that I've seen, and I know people will laugh at it, but on Meta on Facebook is like $12. You know, and they pay out on a regular basis. Now, a lot of people were making lots of money on TikTok because of the content they were posting. Plus, they were getting, in with other businesses such as like Vivor and things like that, and getting free samples, talking about those samples, all that good stuff. And then they were getting money off of a link that they had on their TikTok shop, and so there's tons of ways to make money on both platforms. Some people have figured it out where they're making, like $5,000-6,000 a shot, or more. And I'm not there. 100%, I am not there. Yes, AI is for laughs. Um, there's some good ones out there for the videos that it makes, you know, but yeah, I pretty much just scroll past those. I'll watch them for a second and then I'll go on because it's like, oh, that's complete AI. Got it. And and now it's getting a little bit tougher to tell some of the AI stuff that's out there, but you can still tell AI over real reality. You know, but no, I get it. There's people love their AI. That's why you're seeing so many people doing all of the the time lapse of photography into a character, or doing the whole horror themed AI with Ghostface or it or Pennywise or Freddy Krueger behind you, Jason Voorhees behind you, and all that stuff, um, with their pictures and things like that. And so many people are using it on a regular basis that it's never going to go away. But I'm happy with the comic book conventions that if they find out that you are using AI, they will shut your booth down and kick you out. You know, so that's a good thing for us traditional artists that you know work so hard to do this type of stuff by hand, and you know not type it into a computer and be like, okay, I did my artwork, and I did it in 10 minutes, and you're still working on yours, you know. Because you've got the AI running rampant right now with, I mean, everything from the Sasquatch to kids. Like she showed me one just the other day where this woman had just had a baby, and um, it jumps out of her arms and starts running down the hallway. I mean, this is a newborn, and dad's chasing it, and they're laughing about it. Oh my gosh, look at him go! I'm gonna go back to bed for a while. I'll see you in two. All right, man. You have a good rest. and a good sleep. I think Roy went back to sleep probably too. But yes, all media is entertainment, and yes, 100%, I get that fundamental elements. But when you get the people that are producing the stuff, you know, um, like they take their equipment out to the field and they shoot the shots and things like that, and then they come and mix it on their their media program and stuff like that. That's not AI, you know. But whenever somebody's on their computer screen with their program and tippity tap, tippity tap, and oh look, I just made a whole movie in 5 minutes, you know, because I told it what I wanted it to do. Sorry, I'm getting some sticky keys all of a sudden. I told it what I wanted to do, and I typed it in, and it produced it all for me. You know, it made my movie, and you know that's not how it was supposed to be. Um, you were supposed to take your equipment out to the field. You were supposed to take it into buildings. You're supposed to get your shots like that. Instead, now people are just typing everything they want into a program, and boom, there's your piece of artwork. There's your video. There's your this. There's your that. There's your what you would look like, as this character. You know, instead of going and getting the stuff and making yourself up like cosplayers do. You know, and but I get, again, I get the application for it. I get all that stuff that people want to use it for, and make their lives easier and turn themselves into the next Stephen King or Bill Gates or whatever, you know. But it's just not for me, 100%. And again, I get the application for it, especially if it can help solve or find cancer early on, uh, uh, find any other diseases or catastrophic problems, in the world and things like that. Cool, awesome. I have no issues with that. But when it steals artwork from us traditional artists, that hand do all of our stuff, and then someone comes in and says, "I want a Vampirella with two blah blah blahs," and then all of a sudden, boom, there's that exact piece from another artist who's already painted it, like I've talked about before, and those types of situations. Um, then it's just hurting the art community, and you know, also the people that in the acting field where they're using the AI images of people, to make movies, and they're like, "Well, I wasn't in that movie," you know. And they're like, and that's why California enacted that law or bill or whatever it was that said if you use AI on your stuff, you're going to be fined for it. So kudos to them for stepping into that arena. Uh, but I get it. People love their AI, and it is entertainment and media purposes, and but you won't find it on my stuff. So just saying. And when it comes down to it, it's to each their own. It's just like, you know, those that believe in religion, those that don't, those that believe in politics, those that don't, those that believe in, you know, um, witchcraft, those that don't, uh, all those different things that you could, banter back and forth between. Um, Everybody's got their own opinion on, you know, the side of AI and not AI, you know. And it's just one of those things that you pick a side, on that, and you go with it. Me, I will never use AI. So, and but that's just me. I don't even have it turned on my phone. It's off. AI is turned off on my phone in the little settings area. So, and I have no problems with it being off. Yes, I do see the AI stuff that people generate again on Facebook, on TikTok, on YouTube, on the list goes on and on. And it's just like, well, kudos to you. I mean, you're using it, and more power to you. And maybe it would make some of my processes easier when it comes to uh, posting media faster, posting media more often, you know, throw in an AI program and let it just post random stuff throughout the day. But I'm not there yet. I'm not on board with it yet. So, but that's just me. That's just me. Now, Kurt, you do what you want with AI in your businesses, and I have no issues with that. You know, and I still love you as a person, and I love you as a brother, and I love you as a military brother. You know, and I'm not going to judge you for using AI. And I know that a lot of people, uh, well, I mean, yeah, it could mean that too. American Indian, yeah, yeah, it could totally mean that. That's a good one. Oh lordy, yeah. And so, but yeah, no, it's to each their own. Whatever you want to do with AI, you go for it. I'm not going to condemn you for it. I'm not going to, but I do know that there are people out there that will completely disown somebody that uses AI. Just like they disown them for who they voted for, just like they disown them for what religion they are, and it's just ridiculousness to go that far with anything in life. Life is too short to be like, oh, you're using AI, you're no longer my friend, you know, because if that was the case, the girlfriend would be gone, because I know she likes her AI stuff, the videos and things of that nature, you know, and it's just stupidity to think that people can't have their own opinions and still get along, as you see in the world today. Oh, let's go pew pew up something. Let's go burn something to the ground. Let's go, this, that, or the other over difference of opinion, you know. And we're seeing it too much in the world today. That's why I'm getting all this paranormal activity, because, of the wrongful, passings out there. And it just amps up the paranormal, because, somebody was wronged in life, and they were taken out, and now their spirit is not at rest, you know. They want that vengeance for themselves, or, whatever. And there's no sense in it. There's no sense for all of that disrespect that's happening. And that's just where it is. There's just way too much disrespect in the world for your fellow man, for your fellow woman, your fellow human being. And it's just one of those things that will never be righted, and it will always be as a form of discontent, um, that we can't get along with our human brothers or sisters, and in this world for whatever reason, because it is just how it goes in the world today. So, but that is it for today, folks. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kick on some artwork. No, let's hear your paranormal before we go, because I just told you mine earlier from Saturday when I had the full body apparition walk right to my left and stand there, and I thought it was Audrey coming out of the bedroom to ask me a question, but saw I was on my phone, and then she turned and walked back into the bedroom, but it wasn't her, and we even looked it up on video, and it was not her. It was an orb. But maybe you have told me you're paranormal, but tell it anyway. This way, other people know it, because that's what we're told. That's what we're doing here, especially during the spooky season. Because I've talked about my demon experience as a kid. I've talked about all the different shadow creatures I've seen, all the different full body apparitions, all the poltergeist activity with stuff flying across the room, uh, my UFO experiences, my Bigfoot experience. So I've seen a little bit of a lot. I haven't seen a chupacabra yet. I haven't seen a skinwalker yet. I'm hoping. Um, yeah, this stuff doesn't scare me. I want to see it. I need to experience it so that I know what I know. You know, just like seeing the Bigfoot, just like seeing the UFOs. I haven't seen an alien yet, but I've seen the UFOs. So enlighten us, Mister Holt, please. We are waiting for that enlightenment. Boom, boom, boom. I just debunked the light source. I was trying, but it was getting lengthy. That's okay. We don't mind the full experience of your story, of your true life paranormal experience. Okay. You'll send it to me? Okay. Well, alrighty then. If you're not going to share with the class. Go put your nose in timeout. No, we didn't have timeouts in school. We had, let's go get your whooping. With the big old paddle that was made in wood glass. So, with the holes in it. For more aerodynamics. So there you go. All right, folks, we are going to kill it for now. And we appreciate each and everybody being here, sticking through, listening to the paranormal experience during our, you know, this is the spooky season, and everybody likes the spooky stuff. I don't agree with all of the, yes, Burton Farrell, yep. I do not like a lot of the movie selections that people choose as their number one top horror favorites and all that stuff that I see. Um, because a lot of the stuff that scares a lot of people, I laugh at. And it's just like, I just don't understand your movie choices right now. That was a stupid movie. That was a stupid movie. That was, so on and so forth. And there was no scare in this. There was no scare in that. There was no, so on and so forth. And, yeah, there are some creepy ones out there. I can't lie. But, for the most part, I haven't found one that scares me or keeps me up at night, but that's just me. So, and if you have a top horror movie that scared you or set you on edge to where you couldn't sleep for a while, let me know. Send me a DM about it or post it on this live or whatever. But anyway, I'm going to kill it. And as we say, as we leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.